the Super Bowl is one of the most debilitating experiences that can happen to a franchise. For one, you have months upon months to suffer through the longest offseason of your life. And for another, every single human being, and also Skip Bayless, are gonna set fire to every part of your game plan, talent, ability, and execution. Nobody can simply accept that a team of destiny like the Chiefs outplayed and out-executed the 49ers. Someone has to choke, someone has to take the blame, when really, the Chiefs were more physical on defense and had Patrick Mahomes doing, well, Patrick Mahomes things. Everyone wants to pin the loss on Kyle Shanahan. He stopped running the ball, he wouldn't call timeouts. But when I watched the film and charted the game, Shanahan's play calling and manipulation of the Chiefs' defense repeatedly put the 49ers in position to win the game. Everyone saying in the fourth quarter he should have run the ball to drain the clock when they were winning 20-10. In that fourth quarter, the 49ers ran the ball on every first down up until they were losing with 2 minutes left. After Raheem Mostert would gain 5 yards or get stuffed for 1, Shanahan had several surprises he'd been setting up all game that he was ready to unleash to bury the defense. His usage of RPOs to gain numbers advantages consistently gave the 49ers space on the outside, and though the offense didn't pick up chunk yardage on those plays, they saved their bluff concept for when they really needed it. After a 5-yard run, and really the only play in the fourth that Shanahan arguably should have called another run, on 2nd and 5, he instead went to one of those surprises, his bluff slants concept. He knew with a 3-point lead, the Chiefs were all geared up to stop the run with 6 defenders on the line of scrimmage. He positioned tight end George Kittle and fullback Kyle Juszczyk to the perimeter with wide receiver Deebo Samuel orbit motioning outside as if they were again running a screen. Samuel had been wreaking havoc in the backfield with end-arounds, tap passes, and bubble screens, so Shanahan banked on his backfield movement, catching the defense's attention. Juszczyk and Kittle outside indicated the two would block for Samuel, but the bluff slant concept calls for them to stalk towards the defenders as if to block, then cut inside on slants. That initial movement towards the defenders forced them to think screen and be out of position against the double slants concept. The Chiefs had a blitz called, which tasked defensive end Terrell Suggs with taking Samuel to the flat. Not only did this leave a gaping void in the middle of the defense, Suggs was racing towards Samuel and was technically supposed to cover Kittle. The blitz is designed to slant the defensive line to the left, freeing holes for Charvarius Ward and Anthony Hitchens. By chance, this positioned the mountain Chris Jones almost 3 gaps over from where he started and into the throwing lane where he knocked down the pass on a would-be converted first down. Shanahan spent the first 3 quarters setting up concepts that would work at the end of the game, and on a great offensive play design, Jones and the Chiefs made a better play. This led to 3rd and 5 and maybe the most pivotal moment of the game. The 49ers had been saving this call for just the right moment. This concept had been set up the entire game, and when the offense needs a play, Shanahan has proven he trusts Kittle to win one-on-one matchups. Shanahan creates game plans like he's writing a story. In the beginning and middle of that story, he gives the defense specific information for the first 3 quarters to try and lull them to sleep. Then the fourth quarter rolls around and he pulls out surprise twists and endings. He gave the Chiefs the same bunch formation with the same flat route from Kittle each and every time, hoping to soften the coverage in the middle of the field. Then, when he needed it most, he pulled out the haymaker. That haymaker is called bunch right, Y arches, F corner, which is designed to go to Kittle. It's similar to the play the 49ers used to beat the Saints back in week 14. Samuel runs a slant across the field to open up room for Kittle's option route. After all the chaos caused from the bunch formation, Kittle will have an easy read on the defender. If he's inside, Kittle goes out. If he's outside, Kittle goes in. The other wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne, is supposed to run a corner route, but instead, he runs a swirl route that breaks back inside. We'll get to him in a second. The Chiefs are playing cover 1 dog with a traffic check to the bunch formation. Cover 1 positions 1 safety deep in zone coverage, while the rest of the defenders are in man. Dog refers to the blitzing linebacker Ben Neiman. There are several ways to play bunch formations on defense when you're in man coverage. Some teams prefer to play it straight up where I have you no matter what, but this can be problematic with rub concepts and players running into each other. The Chiefs use a traffic check, which means Rashad Fenton will take the point man in man coverage, and Bashaud Breeland and Tyrann Mathieu will play kind of a zone coverage in and out on the 2 remaining receivers. Mathieu takes the guy coming inside, and Breeland takes the other outside. Since Kittle goes behind Bourne at the snap, he he is technically the outside receiver and Bourne the inside. This switch release gives Kittle excellent leverage to break inside behind Samuel and also gives Bourne great leverage to the sideline. The play is drawn up for Garoppolo to read Kittle first, then Samuel. When I was watching this game, I remember screaming at my television when Kittle looked like he was wide open but was never thrown the ball. I mean, what happened? Why didn't Kittle get this ball and have a chance to make a play to win the game? Brilliant play design and attention to detail from the Chiefs is the answer. Pre-snap, Jimmy Garoppolo thought the defense was playing cover 1 rat, not cover 1 dog. In cover 1 rat, this linebacker plays an underneath zone and cuts crossing routes which would completely take away any in-breaking routes in the middle of the field. But that's not what happened. From the end zone angle, watch Ben Niemann pause and hop into the air before blitzing. He's coached to flash his giant red helmet into Garoppolo's peripheral vision to show him he's playing rat. If he was outright blitzing at the snap, Garoppolo might have picked up that movement and known to throw hot to the middle of the field. But that very slight delay triggers Garoppolo to immediately look outside away from Niemann. You can tell he has no idea the linebacker is blitzing as he gets hit. He thinks Niemann is sitting in the middle of the field, so his eyes snap outside to Bourne, gaining leverage on Matthew with a wide open corner to work with. But Bourne runs the wrong route. Instead, he chops his feet down and runs a swirl route instead of the corner he was supposed to. Right at the end of the play, you can see Bourne's confusion as he's looking all around, and a 49ers coach pissed as hell with the miscommunication. The right play was called. At some point, there was a breakdown in who was running which route, a mistake that cost them dearly. This forced the 49ers to punt the ball back to the Chiefs, who promptly scored, putting the 49ers down 24-20 and forcing Garoppolo to throw the ball to win the game, which is not necessarily a position the 49ers were hoping to be in. On 3rd and 10, Shanahan dialed up the Mills concept to beat the Chiefs' quarters coverage. Wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders broke free downfield, but the pass and ultimately the game were out of reach. The Mills concept is a classic quarters beater. It's a two-man concept with a deep post from the outside receiver and a dig from the slot. In a typical cover 4 zone, the defense will align 4 defenders deep to try and eliminate any big plays down the field. Mills is designed to high-load the strong safety by vertically stretching him. If he sinks back to the post, which he probably should here due to the time left in the game, the dig route comes open. If he bites on the dig route, the deep post will run over his head. However, the Chiefs are not playing regular cover 4 zone. They are pattern matching with what Nick Saban and many defensive coordinators refer to as cover 7, where defenders will match the routes based on how they distribute during the play. It's a way of producing tighter coverage instead of just dropping to a specific spot on the field. They are using what's called cone coverage on both sides, where the cornerback and safety bracket the outside receivers, essentially creating double teams to prevent any receivers flying one-on-one past the rest of their defense. Kendall Fuller and Tyrann Mathieu snap their eyes to the receivers, which creates coverage inside and out. In this coverage, the down corner Rashad Fenton is supposed to man the slot receiver Kendrick Bourne so the deep coverage can preserve their cone bracket, but Fenton blows the coverage and runs with Sanders instead. Fuller's eyes are on Sanders. He was supposed to be over top the post, but since Fenton doesn't run with Bourne, Fuller has to sprint back to the middle of the field to cover Bourne's dig route. Charvarius Ward even funnels Sanders towards where he thinks Fuller is waiting, but the top of the coverage is blown off. The moment Garoppolo sees Fuller move away from the deep center of the field, he pulls the trigger on Sanders. This isn't the easiest throw in the world. It is 50 yards downfield, but to win the Super Bowl, your quarterback has to hit a throw that's wide open. Shanahan dialed up the right concept and produced an open receiver, but he was left shaking his head harder than Shakira's butt at halftime. At the end of the day, fans, media, and anybody with a dial-up internet connection will find ways to pick Shanahan's play calling apart and harp on yet another fourth quarter collapse. Hindsight is always 20/20. Might a run instead of a pass worked in certain situations? Sure. But if instead he runs the ball and can't pick up crucial first downs, the narrative is all about how he's not aggressive enough. Shanahan called a winning game. There were execution errors here and there, but ultimately Patrick Mahomes and an excellent defensive game called by the Chiefs was what put the 49ers in the ground. The pain and agony of giving up a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter is as brutal as they come, and Shanahan knows this better than anyone. But before we pick on the losing coach and how he choked away the game, let's take a breath, sit back, and applaud the Chiefs for being the best team in the NFL. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to catch future content. I want to thank my Patreon supporters. It's been a while since I've really been able to give all you guys a shout out, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I really enjoy making these videos and putting them up. And then with all my posts on Patreon, it's fun seeing what you guys have to say about them. I love to interact with each and every one of you and just talk ball. I'm going to keep going full steam ahead into the offseason. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a Chiefs offense versus 49ers defense breakdown next week. And if you're ready to move on, I am super excited about draft season and getting to work on these college prospects. And when I start pumping those out, I'll put some of my extra thoughts from my scouting reports on Patreon that might not make it into the video to give some more context and see what you guys think about that. Glad we had such an incredible 2020 season together, and in my first full season, it's been fantastic making content that I hope y'all keep enjoying. So, alright, until next Saturday, see ya.